Now it's chapter.
Now we will do the necklace.
I will read the necklace already.
Huh?
Ah.
Read in the list.
It's cool.
So I don't teach you.
No, I'm just saying. School is Sonia, school.
And you won't need grumble about the teacher.
I hate school. मैम को एक बार मिलो आप देखो कैसे बोलते हैं.
Listen, a teacher is a teacher. You don't need to tell me ki like what. Is there something that sometimes you need to be a little receptive.
No, mom, she doesn't know English, Sonia ma'am. She's actually a chemistry teacher.
She doesn't know English.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, you know what she says? She says, children, you are is the students of this gender. And then she speaks faster, so. No, ma'am, she doesn't speak this. She's actually an chemistry teacher. But you know, in our school as a teacher, she has a degree in biology, and then now they're forcing her to teach chemistry. So all she does is she takes a reference book and she just reads off the important points of it. She doesn't know anything about chemistry. She's a biology major. और आशा में so हमें chemistry पढ़ाती है. Biology मैम ना पढ़ाती है. तो वही तो ये chemistry पढ़ाती है. कुछ नहीं आता है इसमें.
Alright, since you did necklace in the school, what does necklace mean?
Necklace. It's about green.
And
necklace. And I should be humble.
And bus. How we are living in a life in a society where appearance is you have to maintain a certain facade in front of the society. Societal expectations. You have to look in a certain way, dress in a certain way. Yes. Dress in a certain. Please switch on the AC. I don't know what's wrong with you all. It's such a.
Super. We are very cool.
Yeah. Switch off the fan and switch on the AC. Don't get electrocuted. That's it.
Devanshu, और क्या तो हो जाएगा देवांशु शॉक हो जाएगा.
It's the societal expectations have to look for certain way, and that's what it is. It's talking about honesty. How her husband was very honest.
I'm very bad.
Yeah, it is. You are also talking about satisfaction in what you have. That higher expectations. So higher expectations coming through the greed part of it. Yes, greed is one of the major themes of it. Understood.
I live stream.
Yeah. So it talks about how, like, in order to please the society, and in the sense, it also talks about, like, you know, in that, in how, like, so, like, how do I dress up or how do I look? In that kind of expectation, that kind of need, they had wasted their youth, right? They had wasted that precious time in your life which doesn't return, and because of that, they lost. Like, her appearance totally changed. You see, she became looking haggard. She started hating her life because she learned her lesson and she had to struggle for it. You know what the story is, right? Say the story.
Basically, there's this girl. Her name is Matilda.
Not Da. B-E. Your
Matilda.
It's your French.
So एक लड़के का नाम है Matilda. उसे जीना लग्जरीज बहुत पसंद है, लेकिन वो बहुत गरीब है. तो उसकी शादी हो जाती है, वो भी एक नॉर्मल क्लब के साथ. So very and like क्लब का भी ठीक था. बट फिर वो पूरा टाइम में घर पे बैठे रहती थी, सोचती कि काश मेरे पास ड्रेसेस रहते, काश मेरे पास ज्वेलरी रहता, मेकअप रहता, ये सब. एंड उसका घर तो बहुत अच्छा था, ठीक है. तो एक बार पर्सन ही अच्छा था, तो ग्रीडी नहीं था, उससे प्यार करना था, सब ठीक अच्छे से. तो एक बार है ना, वो क्लब वो गवर्नमेंट ऑफिस में काम कर रहा था, तो उससे एक लेटर आया था इनविटेशन पे. तो उधर बोला था कि ये बॉल अटेंड करो, मतलब ना फैंसी बॉल्स होते हैं, बॉल इसमें से डांस तक खाना रहता है, बॉल हाँ ड्रिंक्स में बी बॉल
सिंड्रेला
सिंड्रेला देखे ना बॉल पे पैसे तो फिर उसने वो इन्विटेशन पढ़ा और फिर वो ऐसे सैड हो गई तो उससे हस्बैंड पूछा तो सैड क्यों है इतना अच्छा इन्विटेशन आया तो फिर वो बोलती है अरे यार मेरे पास कोई ड्रेस नहीं है मेरे पास ये नहीं मेरे पास वो नहीं है तो फिर उसके हस्बैंड बोलते हैं इतना अच्छा ड्रेस है जो तू सिनेमा जाना तो वो पहन के बोलती है वो कितना गंदा ड्रेस है फिर वो ऐसे ही नाटक करने लगती है मेरे पास ड्रेस नहीं किसी और को इन्विटेशन दे दे तो उसका हस्बैंड नहीं चाहिए वो सैड हो तो बोला ठीक है तुझे कितने पैसे चाहिए मैं ड्रेस खरीदने को तो वो बोलते हैं कि मुझे कुछ तो फ्रैंक्स 400 फ्रैंक्स तो उसका
₹80 में
वो तो बहुत ज्यादा है बट तू सुन 400 फ्रैंक्स
and he sacrifices that because he was saving for
तो वो हस्बैंड उसका डरता था बिकॉज़ एक्चुअली एक ऐसा घर खरीदा था कि वो और उसके फ्रेंड्स हंटिंग के लिए जाए संडे मतलब छुट्टी पे तो उसने उसने बोला मुझे उससे खरीदना था घर तो उसने इतनी मेहनत से सेव किया था फिर उसकी वाइफ ने तो सोचो उसे प्यार किया उसका घर और वो पैसे उसकी वाइफ ने एक ड्रेस खरीदी उसकी वाइफ ने ड्रेस सब खरीद दिया फिर बॉल के आई गेस एक हफ्ते पहले वो वापस उदास हुई बैठी थी तो वापस उसका हस्बैंड आकर पूछा क्या हुआ तुझे तो उसने बोला कि हाँ अब मैं इतना अच्छा ड्रेस पहनूंगी लेकिन मेरे पास मेरा गला बहुत खाली खाली रहेगा तो अब मैं क्या करूँ फिर उसने बोला तेरी वो जो दोस्त है ना उससे फॉलो कर ले तो उसकी दोस्त के पास जाती है और फॉलो करती है नेकलेस जो डायमंड नेकलेस ऐसा लगता है उसकी दोस्त से डायमंड नेकलेस लेती है फिर वो पूरा रेडी होती है सब और उसके हस्बैंड जाते हैं और फिर पूरा नाइट स्पेंड करते हैं और रात में नोटिस करते हैं कि उसका नेकलेस भूल गया ठीक है वो उसका नेक चेक करती है और उसका नेकलेस भूल गया उसके हस्बैंड को बोलती है और फिर उसका हस्बैंड बोला डोंट वरी कुछ फिगर आउट कर तो फिर उसने बेसिकली वो लोग गए डायमंड की शॉप पे और वो नेकलेस का रेप्लिका मतलब ऑलमोस्ट सेम कॉपी खरीदा डायमंड का ठीक है और उन्हें दे दिया फिर वो इतना महंगा नेकलेस था कि उन्हें 10-15 साल काम करना पड़ा लोन को रीपे करने को ठीक है तो वो इतने जॉब्स कर रही थी वो लड़की और वो पता ना मदद से मुझे ये चाहिए मुझे करके तो वो इतने सारे काम किया उसने भी रियलिटी फेस करके वो भी पूरी जो ओल्ड हो गई उसके बाल खराब हो गए ड्रेस खराब हो मैली सी हो गई उसका हस्बैंड भी ओवर टाइम
she started looking like a maid. Moral of the story is she started looking like a maid because you are going in Hindi. Why are you talking in Hindi? Kindly explain. When I asked you to explain it, I said I explain it in Hindi. Maid as in your this
मालूम है पूरी आगे फिर वो मेड से फिर थोड़े साल बाद स्टार्टिंग में
your ears are
फिर 10 साल के बाद उसकी वो एक बार वो गार्डन में जा रही थी उसके वर्क के बाद और उसे लोन खत्म कर दिया तो फिर उसके बाद वो ऐसे गार्डन में चली गई उसका लोन खत्म हो गया बहुत अच्छा हुआ उसे वही आंटी वापस देगी तो बोलती है हाय आपको याद है मैं कौन तो बोलती तुम कौन हो मैं ही जानती हूँ तो बोलती अरे ये मैं हूँ फिर बोलते अरे तुम ऐसे क्यों हो गए फिर उसने बोल दिया कि अरे जब मैं मुझे पार्टी गई थी ना तो उसे ना ये 10 साल से बहुत याद आता था कि काश मैं मुझे पार्टी जाती थी
because she starts regretting. See, we talk about like greed. When you talk about I want to do want this, want that, and ultimately when you have to face the consequences, she regrets her action. That why did I go to that party and why did I because of that I am suffering now because it took them 10 years to pay up that debt because that necklace what they bought it was 10,000 francs and her husband had some money and he had borrowed some money to pay off that debt. It took them 10 years. In that 10 years, their conditions was very, very bad. And the husband never complained. He was such a genuine person. He never complained. But in that 10 years, she basically became the household maid for everybody. And her tone changed. What she had is you have, when you're brought up in a certain way, you behave in a certain way. You do not I'm being a little racist, but if you see how the maids talk and how you talk, there is a difference in that level of talking. But she became exactly like how it become very rough in talking, became in exterior also like when she was dressing up, she dressed up like a maid. She dressed up and she started behaving like that because she was doing the manual labor for to pay up that debt. And ultimately, when she meets this lady and she she tells her that it's because of you I'm in this condition. When she says she doesn't recognize her, so she says it's because she says why. So she said I lost your necklace and I gave you back the necklace and it took me 10 years to pay off the debt. So she says that necklace what I lent you was only 500 francs.
cheap वाला real diamond
That was not a real necklace.
तो फिर उसने उसने उसका cheap वाला necklace खो दिया
And
और
imagine-
real diamond खरीद के दिया।
Yes, imagine now what she was feeling.
वो तो
10
नहीं-
years of her life she destroyed her and her husband's life. And she cannot get back those 10 years. That's why I
वो
said
वापस diamond
here,
necklace she should have
societal
sold it.
expectations, no.
मैम वापस जो diamond necklace लिया था वो नहीं होता है।
But do you think that to work towards that 10 years what she had given for her of her life to pay up the debt, will she ever get back? Even if she
No.
gets the necklace back, what's the use of the necklace when she had destroyed the 10 years of her life?
Time is important than money.
So, was a French writer.
अब बड़ा नाम
Yes. Has,
crazy good morning।
why did you turn up after an hour?
हम लोग आ सकते तू नहीं आ सकता निकल जा मैम 98
What and Meena ma'am you came after an hour? Oh, Shan. Okay. And
98,000 rupees
98,000 rupees. So 98,000 rupees
that time
that time. So now it will be
second
1 crore.
5 to 10 lakhs
More than
50 lakh
yeah, it should be around 50 lakhs around that. Okay. So remember Master Short Story form and represented National School, born in August. Then he was died in this April. Matilda or Matilde, according to the text, is invited to a grand party. She had a beautiful dress from Road Jewelry. She borrowed a necklace from a friend. It is written from a friend. And loses it. What happens then? You got the story gist.
अरे बचपन में भी मुझे
Now, see the irony of the story. Irony of the story when Matilda was, but she had been blessed with physical beauty, but not affluent lifestyle she yearns for. She wants to be rich, she wants to be enjoy life, she wants every luxury, and she was physically beautiful. Or she wanted to support her beauty, not appearance. When I say society, like she wants to be the belle of the society. Okay, so she yearns for that and she feels deeply discontented with a lot of life. We are always discontented as a person. We keep on wanting. We are never satisfied with what we have, and that kind of want makes us pursue things. Sometimes for that, pursuing things, you become greedy, you become corrupt. Because in that pursuit, you have money, you want more money. You have luxury, you want more luxury. It's like that. We are always dissatisfied with what I like, but she is an exact representation of that, like wanting things. And what in that persuasion of wanting, what happens with her? She prepares to attend a fancy party. She borrows a diamond necklace from a Madam Forrester, and then loses the necklace and must work for 10 years to pay off the replacement. For one night of radiance, to look great, cost her and Monsieur Loisel any chance of future happiness, because their 10 years have, it takes a toll. Physically it took a toll, emotionally it took a toll, and they were unhappy for 10 years because they had to pay back that money, and they literally, both the husband and wife, had to work like dogs in order to pay back that money. In that, for that one moment of to shine brightly in that party, it cost them 10 years of their life. We are always, when you achieve certain things, you're always trying to pay back, and when that payback comes, the payback is very, very heavy. It destroys your whole family life.
Why didn't they put back the necklace?
Sorry?
Why did they put back the necklace?
Why did they put back?
Why didn't they put back the
Take
necklace?
back the necklace.
Take back. Why, ma'am?
By taking back the necklace, do you think that whatever they have suffered will come back, or it will do it?
You can sell
the necklace.
I don't पैसे
But पैसे, what money and the time what they had struggled will never be returned, right?
मांगवे सोच तूने the necklace घुमाने जब 16 साल का 26 years का तू जब देखो पैसे आप होता है तो 16 से जो ये पूरा तेरा यंग लाइफ है वो तेरा चला ही रहा फिर पैसे मिलेंगे तो को लेकर टाइम आप
पैसे love money doesn't solve everything
और उससे ज्यादा कमा लेते
no
टाइम का क्या
Time. you think like that
but there are
when
20
time is lost you cannot get it back. Alright, so here this is the character sketch of her husband. Is content with small pleasure. He's satisfied with whatever he has, and he's like he tries to fulfill all her demands. He tries to appease her demands and assuage her complaint. Assuage means she tries to fulfill whatever her complaints is. He loves Matilda immensely but does not truly understand her. He seems to underestimate the depth of her unhappiness. Sacrifices his own future. He is the one who sacrifices, and you will in your family also. There's always going to be one who, be a balance. When you in your family, you will always find that there is a balance. One person who's very level-headed, as in very down to earth, one, and one person who's always demanding, who always wants. Yeah, you will always have that kind of people, and in that to satisfy that want, that other person will sacrifice a lot to fulfill that want, and that person will not appreciate. So he pays dearly for something he had never wanted in the first place. So he's paying for something which he had never wanted. He wanted only Matilda's happiness, and he had to pay the price for her happiness. It's like that in your family also. Because of your happiness, people have to sacrifice a lot and they suffer a lot. And they are not getting anything out of it. If you think about it, your parents are not getting anything out of it ultimately, because you will have your life, you will have your future. I don't know how many of you are going to come and look after your parents. If you think about it in India also, you think about it, how many of the parents are in old age home, or how many of the parents are living alone, because why? Their children have abroad and the children are somewhere studying and all that. They never turn back and say. They never turn back. That is what life is.
My grandma lives with me.
Now she lives as certain parents. I'm taking I'm talking 100% of them.
There was this video that came, and it was that once there was this lady's son, and he fed her alcohol and made her sign like
Yeah.
and he hit her in front of everyone in the street. He hit her, उसकी माँ को उसने लात मारा, जोर से मारा, and then सबके सामने. मुझे नहीं पता. And मेरे पास अभी वीडियो
Switch off the.
and then उसे मारा और फिर उसने उसको ऐसे पकड़ा, कार में ऐसे डाला और ओल्ड एज के बाद फेंक के आ गया.
That's what they do. Did it for the property. So imagine.
देखो कैसे मेरा उल्टी होने के बाद पीका था रखा.
अरे वो तो
around the terrace.
Yes, there are enough instances that happens. That's what I'm saying. World is like that. Coming to this, Mrs. Forrester. Read.
Madam Forestier, Matilda's wealthy friend. Madam Forestier treats Matilda kindly, but Matilda is bitterly jealous of Madam Forestier's wealth. Heavy kindness feels there. Madam Forestier lends Matilda her big necklace for the party and does not inspect it when Matilda returns it. She is horrified to realize that Matilda has wasted her life trying to pay for a replacement necklace, when the original necklace had actually been worth nothing.
So she didn't verify. He thought like I have to give it back. She didn't. It was very expensive, and 10 years of her life she wasted. Now this is very important, please.
The theme of the short story, The Necklace, is to be happy with who you are and what you have. Madam Loisel lived in the middle class society but longed to be a member of high society. She wanted to live above her means and would do whatever it took to get there. Her husband provided the stepping stone to enter the world of the upper class by getting an invitation to a prominent reception. From there, she talked her husband into giving her the money to have a wonderful dress to fit in with them. And then the final highlight was to borrow a wonderful diamond necklace from Madame Forrest.
Photo.
So,
बेटा.
what
Yes. Done.
the ironic situation is the source of her joy. The necklace becomes her downfall when she loses it and has to work the next 10 years of her life to replace it. She not only loses her middle income status but falls into poverty and spends the rest of her life suffering or her dreams.
Suffering for her dreams.
Some suffering for her dreams. The symbolism of the necklace is social acceptance into a world where she longs to be but doesn't belong.
See, we see Bollywood stars, we see their lifestyle. We wish that we have that kind of lifestyle that, that they are so. But if you actually see their life also, it is very, very miserable because they are under the microscope. Every comment they pass, people make memes of it, they are trolled for it. Yeah, as I said, they do not have a normal life. They can't enjoy going out.
Privacy.
They don't have a bit of privacy. We always look at the other side and say, oh, for us, it's always the grass is always greener the other side. You're always wanting that, but that want, we are never like satisfied with what we have. As I said, we always want what, and that social status and the social, Instagram. What is Instagram? They just is like basically they want to show off. They have more than what they are. So that is what the world is. And that is what the lesson teaches you. You have to be satisfied with what you have. Because unnecessary, she suffered. As I said, that time doesn't come back for that. Okay, this is done.
गर्मी हो रही है.
Put on the fan. So open your textbook.
We don't have that.
Why don't just rely on this only? What? Characters.
We want the UT version. टेस्ट कर लेते हैं यार.
ठंडी बज रही है बंद कर.
ठंडी बज रही है. ठंडी बज रही है.
ठंडी लग रही है. जी आती ही नहीं है.
That's what. Read.
She was one of those pretty young women.
अरे पढ़ अभी.
Read. Repeat.
She was one of those pretty young ladies who ascended through an error of destiny into a family of clerks. She had no dowry, no hopes, no means of becoming known, loved and married by a man either rich or distinguished. And she allowed herself to marry a petty clerk
A petty.
in the office of the Board of Education.
Alright, stop. So what does it tell you about Matilda?
She was spoiled.
She was spoiled for choice. What else? What does petty means?
Small.
Small.
Like petty. She was not simple.
You can act petty also, no? You know that? You can act petty. What does acting petty means?
Immature. Or like
Being very selfish or you're being very mean. When you act petty, that means you're being very mean. Here it means very small. Means he didn't have a very big stature. He was like
Of
a very
lesser rank or importance.
Yes, here it is that. As I said, you can act petty too. When you act petty, it becomes you very,
When you
very
bring others
selfish
down.
or you be very mean. That is
when
acting
you
petty.
bring others down.
So petty here it means having of no value is middle class status like that. So now look at the author has started in such a way describing how Matilda is. She was pretty, she was young. Now you have to pay attention because there later on what happens to
She
her.
becomes old.
Yeah, she's born as if through an error of destiny, as if she has to be born in a higher class, but she was born in the middle class. Alright? Into a family of clerks. No dowry, those systems, Elizabethan time, when you're talking about those times, you're talking about the picture, whenever they got married, they used to give dowry. Even that time. Okay? And no hopes, no means of becoming known. No hopes means they used to know they have introductory balls. In those days, there were introductory balls where these young ladies were introduced. That was known as a coming out ball. You know what is a ball? It's like, you know, a big party where there's food, there is dance, yeah. So there was a coming out party. So the family would throw those kind of parties when for that. So she had no, and in that party they would meet suitors. Suitors are people who would get married to. Okay, now we have this Bharat Matrimony and that Shadi.com. In those days, that was the trend. Yeah. So those days, that was a trend. Sorry.
मेरे मम्मी पापा जीवनसाथी.com से मिले यार मेरे मम्मी पापा जीवनसाथी.com सही में
Okay. You had priest also doing the same exact work. Iski kundli, uski kundli, go and match and there you get married. Come on, coming to this.
उसका मतलब ही क्या होता है? क्या फर्क पड़ता है इससे?
As I said, we are brought up in different cultural aspects of your country. The problem is certain communities believe in that kind of thing, like it has to, your stars should align. Even after stars aligning, they get divorced. But still, that is what it is. But coming to that, as I said, this system was they would have this ball and like you know they will be tutors in that ball. Yes, so that's why she has no hopes. She doesn't have any hope of meeting somebody rich to get married to, and no means of becoming known, loved, as in like you know the belle of the society. That way, she had this high aspirations, as I said. And married by a man either rich or distinguished. Distinguished means those days they had earls, diamonds, lords. So you know those kind of titles. So that is distinguished when they have the title. Or somebody wealthy. So she didn't have that kind. Like she knew that she can't because she was born in the family of clerks. So they can't arrange those kind of balls for her. So you'll not be able to meet that. So she compromised. Now that's why she said she allowed herself. So that is again here the allowed word. She compromised. You can see her compromising. Allowed emphasizes on that. Allowed herself to get married to a clerk. A petty clerk. On the top of it, the word petty is used. Who doesn't have any money and any value in society. So that clerk. So she's degrading. If you see, it comes to that. Like the person she gets married, she doesn't hold any kind of respect for that particular person because he doesn't have money and doesn't have status in the society. Now in today's world, also people run after that. So that's why this is still relevant in today's world. It's not something which is irrelevant. People do run about money and status. They see that you should match in your status. You should get married to the girl or a boy who matches your status.
Or caste.
Caste also, but here we are talking about status because this story revolves around the status rather than the caste.
वो सब apps पे कैसे क्या भरोसा रखिए कोई cheater लोग भी हो सकते हैं
वही
अरे तो अभी
पीछे लड़का
होता है
It's not that it is good.
तो भरोसा
हाँ गलती से वो नहीं बस
अरे पुराने जमाने में उतना नहीं होता था अकाउंट बनाने के पैसे लगते थे ट्रोल अकाउंट बनाने के लिए कोई उतना पैसा नहीं खर्च करता
पैसे दे पड़ता है
तब तो लगता था
The world is very small. Come back. This world is more smaller for you right now. Alright, she was simple. See, a petty clerk in the office of Board of Education. She was simple but unhappy. So she got married to this person and she was very unhappy about it. She suffered incessantly, and then you will non-stop, continuously, feeling herself born of all the delicacies and luxuries. What does it mean?
Where are you reading?
Second paragraph. What does she mean feeling born of all the delicacies and
She
luxuries?
feels like she deserves all these.
Yes, that she wants to deserve all the luxuries in life and all, like, you know, the whims and fancies of somebody who's very rich and can afford to have the whims and fancies. Like Neeta Ambani can have a 3 lakh tea per day, while we are happy with a 10 rupees tea per day also.
Yes.
Understood the difference?
happy la.
Have you understood the difference? She believes like that. She suffered from poverty of her apartment. So she's very unhappy because her apartment is very poor. Means the apartment she lives, she feels is like
Yeah.
below her standard. So the poverty of her apartments, the shabby walls are extremely shabby, and the worn chairs. Worn chairs is like
when you use it for
worn
too
out,
long,
yeah,
the
worn out
first-
chairs, like your shoes. After using it for
The
1
sole.
year, how it becomes, the sole becomes worn out. And
Yeah.
all these things tortured and angered her. So this is showing the dissatisfaction. Everything around her made her unhappy. And it was like a torture, mental torture for her to see all these things. Because she thinks I should get more in life rather than less in life. Okay?
With this attitude, that's just very less.
Happy life.
Pot pie. What is the pot pie?
Sorry?
Khana.
You read now, then I'll explain. No?
When she seated herself for dinner opposite her husband, who uncovered the urine with a delighted air, saying, "Oh, the good pot pie." What is a pot pie?
Bye.
It is your stew.
Arey, sambar.
Sambar, okay. I'll explain. That is also fine.
Sambar
वो
जैसा.
रहता है ना जो पानी से रहता है उसमें
It
vegetable
has vegetables, it has
Sambar to
meat,
hoy.
it has everything in it.
सांभर
See.
taste रहता है ना
Sorry?
हाँ,
It basically has all your spices in it, but it is basically either you put vegetables and boiled vegetables are boiled in those spices and all that, or there are vegetables and meats in it. So when you make that is a pot pie.
Okay.
I know nothing better than that. She would think of elegant dinners of shining silver. She thought of the exquisite food served in marvelous dishes. She had neither frocks nor jewels, nothing, and she loved only those things. She had a rich friend, a schoolmate at the convent, who she did not like to visit. She suffered so much when she returned. She wept for whole days from despair and disappointment. One evening, her husband returned elated, bearing in his hand a large envelope. Here, he said, "Here is something for you." और उसका husband कितना
Curing is a casserole. You see the casserole dish?
हाँ. अरे वैसा होता है ना कि uncover करते हैं Tom and Jerry bird uncover करते हैं Jerry निकलता है.
No, not you.
Tureen. Not now.
No, I was talking that spelling.
Tureen.
That was there, na?
I'm
Tureen.
standing.
Yeah, I'm spelling the spelling wrong. That's what I'm saying.
I'm nice to
No, it is this. Can you see?
पता होता है
This.
Really what?
Okay, now what is she expecting in these houses? There were silverwares. Silver means dishes were made of silver. And like you have this china, bone china, those expensive ones, Pita Bani, that house. Okay? Our cups are hardly, compared to her cups, will be,
One rupee.
yeah.
पाँच सौ
One rupee.
200 rupees or something like that. So that is a difference. She expected Nita Ambani. She got,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Yes. So when she's seated at the dinner, she's having the dinner opposite her husband. He's happy. It's a pot pie, and he's happy to eat whatever he's getting. He's contented in his life. So you can see the contrast between both of them. Okay, the contrast is the opposite of both of them. He's very happy to see. So because he's delighted. Oh, the good pot pie. I have known nothing better than that. He enjoys a simple meal. He is very satisfied with a simple meal. But during dinner also, she's thinking of elegant dinners, of silver shining. She's all the silver wares and boat china. This one. She thought of the exquisite food. Here, that simple food which is provided, it is of hard work. He's worked hard and that food he's bought. But we think of, how restaurants, the variety of 10 different dishes to be served in front. She's thinking of that. Exquisite food served in marvelous dishes. Marvelous dishes are the utensils. Okay? She had neither frocks nor jewels. So she didn't have frocks nor jewels, but she loved only those things. She didn't love what is there. She loves what she didn't have.
She shouldn't complain. She's not even working in the first.
Yes, she had a rich friend, and a schoolmate at convent. Now you have this, and we all have. Like we have somebody who's a little bit more. Oh, that's it. A little more you will always have in school, especially in schools. You'll have like one person who's little more extremely richer than you, and you will right, and that comparison is always there. If you notice, especially in classrooms also, you notice that you will always feel inferior compared to the other friend, and that inferiority complex forces you to ask your parents for certain things, and you demand for certain things.
So what if it's not about wealth and more about other qualities?
Sorry,
What if it's not about wealth that comparing and more about other?
but for her, this according to this is wealth. Wangme and Dip. So she did not like to visit her. Why? Because when she came back from her house, she saw like all the luxuries in the house. She came back, she was more depressed and unhappy. So that's what. She suffered so much when she returned. She wept for whole days because she says I should get more than what I'm getting right now. I have potential, I have so much of potential, I need to have more. I am getting what is below my status. That's why. That's why she
Is it
wept.
normal to think that?
You're not entitled to anything rather.
But it's
Yeah.
a dream big.
Yeah, dream big. You have to be ambitious. There's nothing wrong in being ambitious, but you cannot be over ambitious.
Ma'am.
Yes. Yes. You cannot be over ambitious. The more you are over ambitious, the more you will be dissatisfied with your life. And this actually happens with her. She's born in a humble household. She should have appreciate what is being done for her. But rather than appreciating what is done for her, she is negating what is done for her. She's never satisfied, she's always crying. And if you're in that mindset, you will never enjoy anything people do for you. You will not understand the sacrifice what people do for you. That is the saddest part of this. Like she always expects more than what she should get. It's like that. That expectation is what brings her down. Understood? That greed for that particular luxuries brings her down. And it's like, the saddest part is she is calling, pays for it is fine, but her husband also has to pay for it. So that is the saddest part. Like, when we try, we expect more than what we get, and like we are never satisfied, and we don't think that there are going to be repercussions that other people also will suffer along with us.
How can we stop this?
You can stop this because being grateful for what you have got. At least learn to like appreciate what has been done for you. Like you're always demanding, but to fulfill that demand, the person who's trying to fulfill the demand is working so hard. You are not even grateful for that person, for that whatever that person has brought for you. So that is the most demeaning thing in life. It is the most demeaning thing in life you can do.
कम बहुत कम कर.
The sound was not coming.
But that still you're doing it. I have a problem with the action.
तू ऐसे ही कर सकते. I don't know. इसके जगह पे.
What, he's going to become like this? Alright, so she would always weep when she comes back because the comparison is there that my friend has this and I don't have this, and she would be weep and unhappy. She'll weep and become very unhappy. She'll be despair. She will be despair. That is absolutely sad, and she will be disappointed. So when her husband is always trying to satisfy her. So one day he was elated. Elated means he's very, very happy and excited. And he was bearing, that means bearing is carrying. Bearing is carrying. He's brought an envelope here. This is something for you. Alright. Even then, he made that effort to make her happy. Even then she didn't appreciate it. She said she quickly drew out a printed card on which was inscribed the Minister of Public Instruction and Madam George Ramsey. As the honor of Mr. Ma'am Royson Company, Monday evening, January, at the minister's residence. instead of being delighted, now look at this. Instead, like, her husband knows that she likes parties, she likes to go to like elite places. So the husband arranged for an invitation. But what she instead of being delighted at her husband, as her husband had hoped, that this will make her happy, she threw the invitation spitefully on the table. Spitefully,
She doesn't out of disgust.
Out of disgust, as in when you are basically like, what is this? And murmuring, what do you suppose I want with that? She didn't appreciate that he made an effort to bring that. Simple incident, birthday time. You have expectations, and the like father may have
iPhone.
and may not, but he brought you a phone. आपने ये क्या लाया? मैंने ये तो नहीं मंगा था.
I did that one.
Reflect.
No, I don't do that.
I did that once when I was
As a child, you didn't do.
I did that when I was
but I do not do that.
I did it when I was
As a
11.
child, I didn't like any clothes.
Yes.
But nobody liked clothes as children.
Yes, ma'am.
हर साल वो jeans टी-शर्ट देते थे, गुस्सा आता था.
I
I once
wanted
shouted at
hotties.
this one auntie and like आपने मुझे कपड़े क्यों दिए, मुझे toys दो, and now I want clothes.
No, but imagine the money and the hard work to earn that money to bring something for you all. Then go out one man. I told you to go in that corner. Be in that corner.
मैम उधर और हवा
No, it is not going. Go right in the corner.
मैम इधर से टकरा के सीधा
Go call Meena ma'am and say I'm sending you.
So what do you do?
Go in the corner, one man. Alright. So even then she didn't enjoy it, and she said, but my dearie, I thought it would make you happy. You never go out, and this is an occasion. A
Ye
fine
kaun hai?
one.
Husband.
Everybody wishes one, and it is very select. So he's saying that this invitation, everybody wanted it, and it's only selected people who have called, and I made it an effort to get it for you because you always say that you wanted this. So I have arranged for an invitation. Not many are given to the employees. He said, not this invitation was not given to all the employees, only selected employees. You see the whole official world there. So you see that like everybody will be there. Like it's like a massive Bollywood party. So everybody will be there. So why are you not happy? You wanted, right? You wanted those kind of parties, you wanted to attend those kind of parties and all that. So why are you not happy? I have brought that invitation for you. So she said, she looked at him with an irritated. Now she's very irritated and angry with him and declared impatiently, what do you suppose I'll wear to such a thing as that? So it's a grand party. What do you think I'm going to wear for that? I don't have any proper dress. You think I'll go like that to the party?
This
This is just an illustration.
मैम can you show the picture?
She had thought, she had not thought of that. He stammered. Why the dress you wear when we go to the theatre? So when you go, you have a pretty dress when you go to the theatre. You wear that. It seems very pretty to me. He says, for me it is very pretty, right? It's a beautiful thing. So why not go there? He was silent, stupefied and stunned. Okay. In dismay at the sight of his wife weeping, and when women start crying, men's heart it melts. So he just didn't know what to do. Because my wife is crying. She thought that she'll be very happy to see the invitation, and she's literally bitterly weeping. So that's why he was in dismay. He stammered, what is the matter? What is the matter? And trying to find out what is the matter with you. But by a violent effort, she controlled her vexation. Violent effort means it took her like a lot of effort to control, her anger. Vexation is being very angry at him. Okay. And responded in a calm voice. So she told him in a very calm voice. She's pretending to be calm. What? She says, nothing, only I have no dress, and consequently I cannot go to this affair. Give your card of some colleague whose wife is better fitted than I. So she's, as if she's doing him a favor, she calms down. He says, I don't have anything decent to wear. You just give it to the colleague whose wife can afford a particular dress or can dress up well and go to this party. So she's as if she's doing him a favor by telling him this. Okay, because the husband couldn't understand why she's crying. And she has high expectations. Like, I have to look in a certain way, I have to dress in a certain way, I have to wear certain jewelry. So that kind of she always had high expectations. So that kind of attitude she had, and the husband didn't understand. He said, I want to make my wife happy. I brought the invitation. Why are you not happy?
Ma'am, even some rich people they also put in efforts. There was this one girl. She's still my friend, and when she was leaving our society, we hosted a farewell party for her. And my mother and some other ladies in our society, they had bought for mother a really nice table lamp and for her an encyclopedia. But her mother, who is from a very rich family, her father works in Reliance and he's at a very high post. He earns a lot. He used to work in BSR before, and even then he earned in lakhs, and now he earns double. And even her mother came from a very rich family. She has many dresses, a lot of jewelry, but she gave my mother and other mothers in return, like those watches you get in street which are broken. अरे मतलब टूटे फूटे हैं
उसने दिया
अरे अमीर वो अमीर
Who can act cheap? Rich people can also act cheap. So then he was grieved. Grieved is he was very sad because he tried his effort to make his wife happy. He was very sad. He says, but answer, let us see, Matilda, how much would a suitable costume cost? So he said, that particular dress, how much is going to cost? Something that would serve for other occasion and something very simple. So he's being very clear. Like, you can use it for some other occasion and it has to, like something which is very simple, not too expensive because he can't afford. He's a middle class person who earns a limited salary. So he will not. So she reflected for some time. She thought for some time, thinking of a sum she could ask for without bringing with it an immediate refusal. So she was thinking of a sum which she can ask where he will not immediately refuse. Like, I can't afford that much. And a frightened exclamation from an economical clerk. Economical because, we live in a budget. Or I belong to a middle class family. So you live in a particular budget. You have a particular budget. You cannot exceed that budget. Because if you exceed that budget, you cannot afford that particular luxury. You have to plan out everything. Like I want to buy, for example, if I'm going to buy a television, I have to have a budget which will not go more than say 50,000 or 30,000. It will not exceed more than 30,000. I have to see a TV which has to come in that budget. Because otherwise everything gets affected. You are paying up your light bills, you're paying up the the electricity, this water bill, you're paying up your flat maintenance, you're paying up your EMI, you're paying up like so many things are there. So many things are there, and there's so many things, and certain things if it goes haywire, your whole budget system gets. You cannot pay up one bill. Your maids, you have to pay up your maids, you have to pay up for your groceries, you have to pay up for there's so many bills which we have. You have to think very, very carefully, like, can I afford this? So she's saying that's why she thought, before he rejects the amount which she's going to ask. He cannot ask an exorbitant amount, is very large amount, because she knows that he will not give, because he cannot spend that much. He has a limited budget, so in that limited budget she can ask. Finally,
But what if someone gives it to you as a gift? Because my dad's office gifted him a lot of laptops and a 75-inch TV.
but that is a different thing. I'm talking about this story, right? I'm talking about this story where you know that you have a limited budget and you cannot expand that budget.
But why do some offices give such gifts like electronics and stuff? Why?
Okay. So finally he said in a hesitating voice, I cannot tell exactly, but it seems to me that 400 francs ought to cover it. Then I don't know how much the dress will cost, but it's approximately, it will be 400 francs for this kind of dress which I have to wear for the party. He turned a little pale. That amount also was a huge amount for him. It was not something like he had instant. So he turned because he turn pale when you can't fulfill that this one. But for he had saved just this sum to buy a gun that he might be able to join some hunting party the next summer with some of the friends who went to shoot larks are birds at Sunday. So olden days they had this shooting. They used to go for shooting in the country. They used to go to the country and they would go for hunting expeditions. Okay, so there was these clubs in those days which was called the hunting clubs, and he had saved that money to pay the fees for the hunting club. Understood? So so he couldn't. Nevertheless, he answered very well. I will give you 400 francs, but try to have a pretty dress. So if I'm giving you 400 francs, then you pick up a nice, pretty dress. Okay, don't pick up a cheap quality dress. Pick up a good dress, pretty dress. So he is now. You see, he sacrifices that. So it's the same thing with your parents, the fees, what has to be paid, whether it's this fees or your school fees. There are some things they have to sacrifice in order to. There's so many things, as I said, as an adult, I can understand how many sacrifices you have to make in order to fulfill certain criteria of your. The day of the ball approached and Ma'am Loisel seemed sad. Now, she's got a dress. Now, again, she's sad. Okay, she's never happy. She said disturbed and anxious. She was very sad, she was very disturbed, and she was very anxious. So, nevertheless, the dress was nearly ready. Her husband said to her one evening, "What is the matter with you? You are acting strangely for 2-3 days." So, just before the ball, 2-3 days, he saw her acting very strangely. He said, why are you acting strangely? Now your dress is ready, or you have a pretty dress and everything is there. Now what happened? So she says, "I am vexed not to have a jewel, nothing to adorn myself with. I shall have such a poverty-stricken look. I would prefer not to go to this party." So he said, "I have a lovely dress, but I don't have any jewelry to wear. Adorn is to wear. So, and I would look like a pauper as in a beggar in the party. I have the dress, but I don't have any jewelry. So, that's why she was very unhappy. That's why she was angry. So, and she said, "I don't want to go to the party." Now, he sacrificed that 400 for her to get a dress. She's got a dress, still she's unhappy. So, she's about jewelry.
She doesn't deserve him.
But we don't deserve a lot of things in life. But you are also like that. It's very easy to point fingers at others, but you see what you have also done. I told you, put yourself in the context of you being a child and your parents. Think there are instances where you have behaved like this.
Yes.
Think, you will come to know. Because we are a mixture of good and bad. Understood?
No,
This kind of stories are written in literature for your realization of understanding that you have to be happy sometimes with what you get, not always keep on demanding. So it is like that. It's as I said, remember your childhood, you're always demanding. You want this toy, you want that toy, you want this. And within 2 minutes you get the toy, you break the toy.
It's my sister, yes.
Yeah, it is. Within 2 minutes you break the toy. It's not something that you'll stay for 10 years. Within 5 minutes the toy is broken into pieces and you demand another toy. It's like that. She's exactly like that. She's got her dress, now she wants her jewelry. So she said, "Now I don't want to go to the party." That husband is sacrificing a lot, but a child never realized. You never realized what sacrifice your parents have done. That money is not easily earned. You're getting scolded by the boss. You're getting you're shouted by every corner. You're getting overworked because you have to complete your assignments. You have to complete your duties and all that, and still that family is not satisfied. So what are you getting back? Like that it is. Let me complete this. Okay, you can wear some natural flowers in this season. They look very chic. So he said you can wear flowers and it look very stylish. Chic is very stylish. So she was not convinced. No, there is nothing more humiliating than to have a shabby air in the midst of rich women. So he said it will be very humiliating for me. It will be very insulting for me because everybody will be dressed well and I am the only one who doesn't have jewelry. So it will look very shabby. You know how shabby is when you get up without combing your hair and going to school with your shirt out and your yes. I looked at Timoni and I said. So Then her husband cried out, "How stupid we are! Go and find your friend Mem Forrester and ask her to lend her your jewels." So he said, "We are so stupid. Why don't you go and ask your friend for jewels?" And this is where I will stop because this is where your turning point happens. Okay. You all can leave now. You can go enjoy. No, when is your exam? This one test.
One of
And go enjoy yourself.
Thank you, ma'am.
इधर सो जाए क्या एक घंटे बिना आपको पूछ के यहाँ टेबल में अच्छी नींद आती है
Because it is a representation of your class. In the class also you are asleep in the school.
But on Fridays I have in my third and fifth period, third